What's up, my fellow legendaries? This is Rainquaza here, and I'm here today with my CPL Draft Analysis. Alright, let's just get right into it. So, I'll discuss the rules as I go. I think it's pretty important for me just to mention briefly that this team, shoutouts to Fugio367, I'm actually just Fugio right now, but I asked him what Pokemon to base my draft around, and he told me Volcarona the day before the draft. So pretty much this whole team is built around the idea of keeping Volcarona alive. Sort of ended up picking up part of a sand team along with it, but let's just get right into the draft. Alright, for round 1 of OU, I picked up Slowbro, technically Mega Slowbro, but I picked up Slowbro because it's a really great water Pokemon, very versatile, very good Mega. I liked it because, as a Mega option, I can either run it as a Mega, or I can use its ability Regenerator and recover some HP. I can run a Calm Mind, Slack Off variant, a physically defensive, set to deal with stuff like Fortress and Ferrothorn, with Fire Blast, a Specs variant, not really a Scarf variant, but any number of different sets, depending on what my opponent's team is, and even run Mega if I decide that that's the route I want to take. Next, in OU, I picked up Excadrill. At this point, I had already picked up Volcarona, and I wanted a really strong Rapid Spinner. Excadrill is one of the best rapid spinners in the game, also gets Mold Breaker, so I can deal with big threats such as Rotom Wash and Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat's pretty big counter to my team if I decide I don't feel like bringing Slowbro along, so I sort of picked it up for that. Rotom Wash can sort of deal with Excadrill. Really like the idea of Rapid Spin, that sort of thing. Pretty standard, really good pickup. Next, in OU, I picked up Hippowdon. I wasn't initially going to run a sand team, but I decided since Hippowdon wasn't picked up at this point, I might as well snag him. Really good choice, I think, personally. Probably planning on running a defensive variant of him, keep him alive to keep my sand up, that sort of thing. Gives me team options, as opposed to just running Volcarona. I can go a different sand team route, and my opponent really doesn't know what to expect, depending on whether I'm running Mold Breaker Excadrill or Sand Rush Excadrill. Fully offensive or a defensive variant, SD sweeper variant, even a choice banded variant, maybe even, that sort of thing. Next, down to my UU picks, I picked up Volcarona. In our particular draft, Volcarona, being in BL, our rules for BL is it drops into the tier below it, so since it was banned from the tier of UU, it's technically allowed to be in UU. Great option. Decided to pick it up, thanks to Fugio for recommending it. Wasn't initially going to even think about getting Volcarona until I realized I wouldn't have to burn an OU pick, and I really didn't have a whole lot of other really good UU picks I wanted. So I snagged Volcarona. Next I picked up Porygon Z. For Volcarona, probably Sashed variant. If I'm facing a Rain team, which I believe someone picked up Politoed, I can run a Hurricane variant with Giga Drain, that sort of thing. I picked up Porygon Z because we go down the order. We go UU, we pick a Pokemon in OU, Pokemon in UU, Pokemon in RU, Pokemon in NU. So at this point, I got sniped and I wasn't able to pick up Exploud like I initially wanted to. So I decided to go a slightly different route and pick up Porygon Z. Pretty good choice, I think, because aside from Sand, my team is very slow. So, aside from Volcarona and with the Sand part, my team is very slow. So I thought it'd probably be a good idea to pick up a really strong Scarf Spectrus variant. Never going to run Analytic, might run Download, might run Adaptability, depending on the situation. Probably Adaptability, honestly. Especially with its base 135 special attack, and it's not awful speed. Base 90, I believe. Yeah, it's base 90. And then for my last UU pick, I picked up Hoopa. As you'll see, probably next week in my team, in my battle. This battle, I'll link my battle in the description. Pokemon Showdown, deleted my battle before I could replay it. They've been having some technical difficulties, so you may or may not see mine. So I'll definitely link you to Brother Goose Shoutouts to him. He made the thumbnail for this video. Picked up Hoopa, really, actually, just for trade fodder, really. My team really didn't need Hoopa. I thought initially I might want him, as a special defensive wall, maybe with an assault vest variant, that sort of thing. But, just for a spin blocker. But I decided that I would really want to pick him up because a lot of people want Hoopa in this draft. I heard people talking about it, but no one really actually picked him up. A lot of Hoopa Unbound was picked up super early in the draft. I ended up snagging Hoopa as my final UU pick, mainly just for trade fodder. I actually traded him for Zygarde week 1 after I battled Brother Goo this first week. So shoutouts to him again for helping me out with a trade. He really wanted a Hoopa, a good special attacker, and I wanted a Zygarde, pretty much because it goes really well with the sand part of the team. On to my RU picks, I picked up Rotom. Oh, this video's going a little long. I picked up Rotom. Rotom is one of my favorite grass-type Pokemon in the game. Really great option. I really like the specs set with Trick, and then running a defensive set. So pretty much I trick Scarf for specs. And then I'm pretty much a defensive Rotom after that. Or even, like, fully offensive variant. Rotom-Mo's really good because, aside from my Excadrill, which really only in sand, I mean, only really if I'm running max speed, I have no counters to Rotom Wash. So, I wanted to pick up Rotom-Mo as a check to Rotom Wash, that sort of thing. I really like my Fire, Water, Grass cores, so I really thought it'd be nice to have a grass Pokemon that also has Levitate, so I can avoid ground type moves. My team has had a slight weakness to ground moves, but also have a Volt Switcher, which is really nice, so I can keep up synergy, keep momentum going on. Next, I picked up Braviary. Braviary is a very versatile pick. Really picked up Braviary because Mega Venusaur was picked up very early in the draft, and I realized late in the draft I didn't have a solid flying type. I'm probably planning on running a sub-based variant, that sort of thing. Really probably depends on the battle. Definitely against the Mega Venusaur, because Mega Venusaur has a little bit of trouble dealing with Braviary. Also have Defiant if I'm battling an opponent that has a lot of Intimidate users on their team. Next I picked up Druddigon as my final RU pick. Druddigon's an amazing Pokemon. One of the very first picks, in RU was Cinccino. I hate dealing with Cinccino. If I don't have Cinccino on my team, I need something like Druddigon to deal with it. Probably, but with Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet, they lose 1/6 of their HP and 1/8 of their max HP the same turn. So I'm pretty sure that if they're running a Skill Link, I get hit with a Skill Link Tail Slap, Druddigon will at least do 75% damage and recoil just from getting hit with the moves. I really sort of like it. It's no Zygarde, but it's basically a poor man's Zygarde. It gets Glare or Dragon Tail, that sort of thing. But pretty much just a check for annoying physical attackers that I have trouble dealing with. Next, I decided to pick up Kabutops. Again, Politoed was picked up in case I need something else for the rain, against the rain team. Because sand, for the weather war between sand and rain, it could sort of help out. Also gets a boost in the sand because it's a rock type. Also, I sort of wanted it as a backup Rapid Spin user. The only other really option I was even considering in NU would have been Sandslash, and I had one of the final picks in NU for the first round, so I decided I wanted to go with Kabutops. Now, I had because we're doing a snaking order, I had the very first NU pick round 2, so I was able to pick up Primeape back-to-back with Kabutops. Picked up Primeape because I didn't have a fighting type at this point in the draft, and I really needed something to deal with bulky normal types like frickin' Blissey or Chansey and that sort of thing. And it also gets Defiant, which can be very useful. And last but not least, absolutely not least, I picked up Stoutland. Okay, Stoutland gets Sandrush, which is amazing. So I can now if I decide I want to run a full sand team, I can run both Stoutland and Excadrill. Can alternate between Excadrill and Stoutland. Just for an idea, Stoutland has base 110 attack and not bad speed. So with Sand Rush, it can outspeed everything. I can even run an Intimidate variant. Very good Pokemon. I really enjoyed it. I made Black-White 2 Sand Team back in the day, basically revolving around Stoutland and something else. I believe Excadrill was banned at the time, so I think it was like a Stoutland and Sandslash team, and it actually did very well. I was impressed with how well it did. Well, that's it for my draft, and I hope you all have a good day. Peace, YouTube.